Hi, Mark. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, we've got Mark Rivlin with us, so thank you so much for joining.
Okay.
Mark, how long have you been doing comedy, roughly? Would you say?
4 years.
Fantastic, cool. You're known as quite the pun master, really.
Well, that's what I do. Yeah, I'll try.
Has that always been like a style for you? Did you experiment with other stuff, or that was just something with the puns that kind of came?
Okay, I'm going to let you into a secret nobody else knows. I did one comedy gig in winter of 1979, right? And Alexis Sale was the compere in the Comedy Store in London. I was gonged off in about 20 seconds, and then I didn't come back until 2016.
Wow, gosh, that's and gigs like that can be quite. Yeah, that's
And that's because I had no material. Basically, I developed the skill of one-line jokes from working Saturday nights at the Sunday People on the football. I did the Saturday night football editing shift for about 15 years, once a week. And that's where you develop the skill of writing a story in 4 or 5 words with a pun. And one of my mates said, you should take that onto the stand-up circuit. So I had to rewrite or think of new material. But once I've got the genre, it was okay.
That's cool. And that's quite a challenge, I think, for a lot of comics. Like, we've got stories, but it's like, how do we edit them down? And it's constant edits. And that's more work for you, I suppose, like, to sort of get that down to a T, which you do really well. As a comic performer over the last few months, obviously what we're going through globally, what's been the most challenging thing for you?
Not having a live audience makes the whole thing very difficult. Looking at people on a screen is nowhere near as good as being live in a room. And that's what's been difficult, but that's what we've got. So you have to work with it.
Yeah, sure. It is very different, isn't it? And with sort of doing online gigs, like your first Zoom online gig, how did that feel for you? Was it strange, surreal?
It was strange. The big advantage I have doing online, though, with my jokes is that I can never forget them because I can just have them in front of me, which you can't do on stage. And that's always been a problem on stage because you never know when you might just go blank, and it has happened. I think I've done about 7 now, maybe 8, I don't know. And yeah, I enjoy it. I like the whole atmosphere of before and after and meeting people and all that.
Sure. Yeah. And do you think, obviously it's great that sort of live gigs are coming back now, whether that's going to be for a long time or have another sort of break. Do you think it's even later on? Do you think it's something that would work online and live gigs as well? Do you think, or do you think it's just a sort of in between?
No, I think it will continue. I mean, Kyle was saying that he will have to continue doing the online because there won't be enough physical gigs.
Yeah.
So I think it's here to stay, and I think it can, once people get used to it, it'll be good. But preference is doing live gigs. I'd rather die in inverted commas doing a live gig than get roaring laughter at an online one.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It's so different. And have you, since easing of lockdown, have you done a live gig recently, since everything's eased out?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, they are quite challenging to find. There's a lot of things on Facebook that people are doing gigs in alleyways, near bins, under trees, parks, all sorts. Over the years you've done comedy, where is the strangest place you've done a gig, would you say?
Well, I actually promoted a gig twice in an upmarket gents hair salon, which is situated inside a shipping container in Containerville.
Nice.
I've done it twice there and 2 successful nights.
Brilliant. That's really cool. It is really cool to see what sort of, because back, like, even a few months ago, people would have said, what, near a tree or in a warehouse or work near bins. No way. But now it's just like everyone's like to perform. Through the last few months lockdown, is there anything, what kept you sane, do you think? Did you cycle, ride, sport? I don't know, what kept you sane?
Well, I'm running my own business, but it's been a bit of a disaster area. So that's been depressing in itself. I'm about 60% down on turnover through the period from last year. But I write a blog that I'm hoping to monetize about cricket. And I've been busy on that, and one or two other creative writing things and one or two pitches. But also having to move back home to work when I was at a desk space, which is now closed. So the whole thing's been difficult.
Yeah, it's flipped a lot of people's lives around, for sure. And with the tech side, were you tech savvy before sort of doing?
Yeah, I mean, basic tech, yeah. I can get to the back of a WordPress website and edit and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm not conversant with the software that designers use, but yeah, I mean, I'm as good as the next guy.
That's cool. Yeah, I think it's been a shock for like some people. So it's nice to have some kind of basic sort of knowledge with the computer.
Yeah.
With lockdown, I mean, obviously we're easing out now. Do you think we are going to go into a second lockdown? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's pretty inevitable. My personal view now is it's enough. I think we should get back working in offices, in warehouses, wherever, because if the economy shrinks anymore, we're in big trouble. I think we have to take the chance. So some people are going to get COVID and they're going to die from it, but they're going to die anyway. So, you know.
Yeah. Sure. And this is obviously winter is going to be quite a tough time. With the vaccines, are you for the vaccines? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay, nice. And so I suppose with the masks, are you for the masks or against? Or not?
Yes, I am. Yeah, but not overdo it. If someone forgets it, let them in the supermarket. You know, it's not going to make much difference.
Yeah, for sure. And with the with Boris, okay, a bit of a random question. Do you think, how many kids do you think Boris has? Children do you have?
How many children's he got?
Yeah.
How long's a piece of string? I don't know. I've no idea. I mean, it's no secret. I'm generally a Labour voter, but because I'm Jewish, I have no intention of ever voting for Corbyn. I believe he's anti-Semitic. And so I voted Lib Dem at the last election. But I'm not a conservative. I'm more an honest Labour guy, and I'll vote for Starmer.
Nice. So, I mean, like, one point I thought he had 6 or maybe 7. I reckon, you never know. Anything might come out where he's got another one somewhere.
It's quite possible, yeah.
Nothing sort of said in concrete how many. Even he's not sure, I don't think, to be honest.
No.
And with the writing, how did you sort of get inspired through the last few months for writing?
Comedy. I write jokes at least one a day, if not 2 one-liners a day, and they come to me at the most ridiculous times. I don't sit and think of them. There was something on the radio yesterday morning about funeral companies in lockdown, and within a minute I had a joke which I wheeled out last night, just because something came to my head. So that's how it works with one-liners. You just get jokes from everyday items.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I suppose there's a lot of comedians can relate to sort of waking up at weird times in the night and suddenly going, oh, here's a joke, or sort of, sort of can keep you up. It's
very important to keep at it in writing comedy. You just got to keep doing it.
Yeah, consistency. And with the with social media, whereabout can we find you? If we want to find you on social media.
I'm on Twitter, Mr_Punman. I'm on Facebook under my own name. I was thinking of doing what one or two comics have done and done some stuff on TikTok, but my younger son, who's 20, tells me it's not for me, so I won't.
Well, you never know. I'm not on TikTok either, but I'm curious to try it out. So I think, why not try it out? But I suppose it's different if they're sort of go, hey, we want to use it, and lots of people go on it. There's so many different social medias now. I can't keep up with it. It's insane. And is there anyone with comedy, like a comedian you aspire to? Is there any specific comedian as a favourite you have?
There's a few people who do one-liners. The most famous are Tim Vine, who I don't like. I don't think he's good. Stuart Francis, who's excellent. Milton Jones. But the guy who is miles better than everyone else is Gary Delaney. I think he's a genius. His material is sensational. You know?
I haven't seen it. I've seen
He's the partner of Sarah Millican.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Nice. And what got you into stand-up initially?
The stand-up?
Yeah. First.
Well, I basically was out for a drink with a mate who I used to work with at the People, because I stopped working there 10 years ago. And he said, just roll out some jokes, and so I did. I just started doing it, just like that, from nowhere. And the first gig went really well at the Lion's Den, and there's not many people doing liners on the circuit, on our circuit. So James Lovelace is one, and I'm going to start a podcast with him on puns.
Brilliant. Yeah. I've tried to do a few puns, but they are fun. Yeah. And you've mastered them pretty well. What's the worst gig you've ever done? Was that apart from
There's been a few like the worst one, but the worst of all was at the King and Queen off Tottenham Court Road on a cold Sunday night, maybe 3 years ago. And I got up on the stage. It was a bad crowd anyway, not many people there, pretty miserable, and my mind went completely and utterly blank. I managed to, I don't know, do about 5. And then I said, I was born in Leeds, I've died here, I'm on my way. And I got off the stage.
Yeah. And it's very scary when that happens. It's sort of for anybody, any performer.
It happens to everybody on the circuit. I don't know anyone who's not happened to. It's going to happen. Even the best guys, it happens. So you just got to put up with it. If you don't like it, I always say, then don't do it.
Yeah, fine. And have you been to Edinburgh before? Is that a place you've...
No, I've been to Edinburgh as a spectator. I don't think Edinburgh's for me, but I wouldn't be against giving it a go. So, I mean, I think some people, I'm not going to mention names, see it as a kind of rite of passage. You have to do Edinburgh, and then you have to hope you see a TV producer there, etc. Of course, I'm far too old for all of that. So, but yeah, I mean, good luck to the people who do it. I have to say, there's some incredibly talented people on the circuit, and it's a real privilege to be alongside them.
That's really cool. And do you feel like with the last few months doing online, do you feel like maybe you've met more people on the circuit than one would have if we were just doing live gigs, things like that sort of thing?
You don't meet as many comics, but I've met people who are watching from all over the world. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's the only thing we've got.
Yeah, and obviously because it's a global thing. I've never really done a sort of a gig in front of American kind of comedy. What are the kind of countries you've done online gigs to apart from the UK? Has there been?
Well, I've only done UK-based online gigs, but there have been Americans, South Africans, whatever in the audience. It's interesting to hear their perspectives.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, it's an interesting time with online and things like that. I mean, with Edinburgh, to be honest, like, I was quite glad in a way it didn't happen, because I was like, I'm not prepared at all. So, what's your say? Have you got any things coming up with sort of gigs? Where can we find it, with online or live? Is anything coming up?
I haven't got anything booked at all, actually, but you know, if I fancy, I can send you an email, I can send someone else an email. But I do want to get back to live shows as soon as I can. The other thing I want to do is try and monetize, if I can, promoting some gigs. Particularly interested in working with companies to do gigs for them, rather than the circuit, as it were. I've got a group of people, comics, who I've known for a long time from the circuit, who I'd be very pleased to work with, yourself included, should you wish to join.
Thank you. It's very kind. And that's great. Kind of, it's also like, obviously the circus is saying, but it's good to expand out to with companies, corporate, because there's so many areas for comedy. So it sounds like a really interesting project. So I hopefully we shall see you on Friendly and online as well soon. It's always a pleasure when you come on and perform as well. Like when I saw you last night on JB, that was really cool.
But that's a good gig you run, and I've talked about it with other people. You've got a different approach, and it's very refreshing. 4 or 5 comics, 5-10 minutes each, and you're done. And I like that. It's a really good model.
Thank you. It is an interesting season for people's styles online, because it's like, oh, does that work? Does that work? I'm trying to make, and I think each person who does something online tries to figure out what can work that still kind of make it their own as well. And that's always kind of been interesting, and how one can be creative with that, which is fun. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and I hope
Thank you.
We shall see you soon.
Thank you very much.
And we will look out for the podcast as well. The puns are brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to get that going, I hope, as soon as possible.
So that was Mark Rivlin. Find him on Facebook. What was it on Twitter? Did you say
at @mr_Punman.
Perfect. Cool. We can find Mark. Thank you.